What if mathematics isn't something humans invented? What if it's something we discovered? What if numbers are not merely symbols on paper, but the hidden architecture of reality itself? About 2,500 years ago, there was one man who became obsessed with that possibility. He was a philosopher, a mystic, a mathematician, a cult leader, a prophet of numerical truth, one of which that has been taught in schools and is usually a household name. We've all learned his theorem. His name was Pythagoras, and even now, thousands of years later, we are still living inside his vision of the universe. Pythagoras didn't just create a theorem, he changed the way humanity understood the reality around it itself. Pythagoras was born around 570 BCE on the Greek island of Samos, but almost immediately history became blurry. No writings from Pythagoras have survived. Not one sentence we can verify. Everything we know comes from followers, admirers, critics, and legends written centuries later, similar to other pre-Socratics. And those legends were strange. Some claimed Pythagoras could remember his past lives. Others said he performed miracles. Some believed he possessed supernatural powers. At some point, the historical man began dissolving into myth. But maybe that's fitting, because Pythagoras was never merely a mathematician. He was something much stranger. To understand why Pythagoras mattered, we need to understand the world before him. Earlier Greek thinkers searched for the basic substance behind existence. Thales of Miletus believed everything came from water. Anaximander proposed the infinite apeiron. Heraclitus believed reality was constant change, eternal fire and flux. These philosophers were trying to answer one massive question: what is reality made of? And then Pythagoras arrived with an answer nobody expected. Not water, not fire, not matter at all. Numbers. Reality itself, he claimed, was mathematical. That idea sounds normal now because modern science trained us to think mathematically, but in ancient Greece, this was a revolutionary thought. Pythagoras transformed numbers from practical tools into metaphysical truth. When Pythagoras moved from Croton to southern Italy, he founded something between a school, a monastery, and a secret society, the Pythagorean brotherhood. Members lived communally, shared property, followed strict ethical rules, observed rituals of purification. Some followers reportedly remained silent for years before earning the right to speak. Imagine joining a philosophy school and immediately being told, "You may now spend 5 years listening." Pretty sure everyone would crash out and say, "No thank you." This wasn't education in the modern sense. It was initiation. The Pythagoreans believed wisdom transformed the soul itself, and mathematics was part of that transformation. To study numbers was to align yourself with cosmic order. Math wasn't merely intellectual, it was also spiritual. Legend says Pythagoras made one of his greatest discoveries while hearing blacksmith hammers strike metal. Different hammer weights produce different tones. The story is probably fictional, but the discovery behind it was real. Pythagoras realized harmonious musical intervals corresponded to simple mathematic ratios. An octave, 2 to 1, a perfect fifth, 3 to 2, a perfect fourth, 4 to 3. Suddenly, beauty itself seemed mathematical. Music, something emotional and artistic, obeyed numerical law. And this changed everything, because if music follows hidden mathematical harmony, maybe the entire universe does too. The Pythagoreans imagined plants moving according to visible ratios and proportions. They called this the harmony of the spheres, the cosmos itself as music. Not metaphorically, literally, and as strange as it sounds, this idea became one of the earliest ancestors of modern physics. Eventually, we arrive at the most famous mathematical statement in human history, the Pythagorean theorem. In a right triangle, the square of the hypotenuse equals the sum of the squares of the other two sides. Simple, elegant, eternal, except there's one problem. Pythagoras probably didn't invent it. Babylonians understood versions of this relationship centuries earlier. So why does history remember his name instead of theirs? Because the real Pythagorean revolution wasn't calculation, it was proof. The idea that mathematical truth could be demonstrated through pure logic, not guessed or observed, but proven. This transforms mathematics into something philosophically explosive. For the first time, human beings encounter a form of absolute certainty produced entirely by reason, and that discovery changes Western civilization forever. Then came the crisis. the thing that shattered the Pythagorean worldview, the discovery of irrational numbers, like the square root of 2. Numbers that cannot be expressed as clean ratios, infinite, non-repeating, uncontrollable. For the Pythagoreans, this was terrifying, because their entire philosophy depended on the belief that reality was built from perfect numerical harmony, but irrational numbers introduced chaos into the system. One legend says that one Pythagorean revealed this secret and was drowned for it. The story is probably mythical, but symbolically it reveals something profound. Every worldview eventually encounters truths it cannot comfortably contain, and sometimes the most dangerous discoveries are the ones that emerge from the system itself. The Pythagoreans even worshipped a sacred numerical symbol called the tetractris, triangular arrangement of numbers representing harmony and cosmic structure. To modernize, it may look abstract, but for the Pythagoreans, this symbol represented the deepest structure of existence itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, together forming 10, the perfect number. The universe, they believed, was fundamentally ordered, structured, intelligible. Mathematics weren't simply describing reality. Mathematics was reality. And honestly, I don't think humanity ever fully escaped this idea. According to tradition, Pythagoras may have coined the word philosopher, a lover of wisdom, not someone who possesses truth, but someone who pursues it. Whether historically accurate or not, the symbolism matters, because Pythagoras helped create the image of philosophy as a way of life, not just merely abstract thinking, but discipline, transformation, a search for alignment between mind, soul, and cosmos. This deeply influences Plato, and through Plato, almost the entirety of Western philosophy. Abstract truth, invisible reality beneath appearances, mathematical structure, immortal soul, all carry traces of Pythagorean thought. In some ways, Pythagoras becomes the invisible architect of Western civilization. Now, the unfortunate part is that Pythagoras was wrong about many things, but he may have been glimpsed into something astonishingly true. Modern science increasingly describes reality mathematically. So physics don't describe the universe through ordinary human language. It describes it through equations, wave functions, geometry, fields, symmetry. The deeper science goes, the less reality resembles solid objects and the more it resembles mathematical structure. Why? Why should abstract mathematics describe the universe so perfectly? Why do equations predict black holes before telescopes observe them? Why does reality obey mathematics at all? Centuries after Pythagoras, physicist Galileo would say that the universe is written in the language of mathematics, and modern physicist Eugene Wigner would later describe the unreasonable effectiveness of mathematics. But maybe Pythagoras saw the mystery first, that strange connection between mind, number, and reality. But there's another side to this story, a darker side. Pythagoras believed reality was perfectly rational and harmonious, yet his movement became secretive, dogmatic, and authoritarian. And this contradiction never disappeared, because human beings often turn systems of truth into systems of power. Even rationality can become ideology. Even logic can become tribal. That irrationality hidden inside reason itself. That is the shadow of Pythagoras, and maybe that's why his story still feels strangely modern. For over 2,000 years, humanity has searched for hidden code beneath reality. From sacred geometry, to Newton's laws, to quantum physics, quantum mechanics, to computer simulations, we are still chasing the same dream Pythagoras chased long ago. That beneath the chaos of existence, there is an order, that reality is intelligible, that the universe somehow makes sense. And maybe that's the real legacy of Pythagoras. Not triangles or equations, but the belief that the cosmos itself can be understood.